Councilors online? Bueno. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Sunland Park City Council. Today is March 3rd, 2026. It is 5:33 p.m. This session is now in order. If I can have the roll call, please.
Councilor Mili Sandoval. Councilor Armando Mata.
Aye.
Councilor Berta Salmón. Councilor Alberto Jaramillo. Councilor María Burciaga.
Present.
Councilor Raúl Telles.
Present. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have. On to the next item, which is Pledge of Allegiance. Just a reminder, we have switched some systems here in the council chambers. Anyone who's going to speak, if you can speak directly into the microphone so that people listening online can hear the conversations that are being had. With that, we'll go to the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can please rest for Pledge of Allegiance. Councilor Sandoval, if you can lead us, please.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
It's too loud? Ay, jole. Bueno. That works. Will that work? Let me know. Okay. All right, at this time, if there's any item on the agenda with which a member of the council or the staff has a conflict of interest, you have the opportunity to express it. Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to approve the agenda order. I know there is. Yeah, look at the. Stuff. Parcels. Item 31. We already considered that item in the last council agenda. I don't see why that one should be on the agenda. Is there any objection to removing that item from the agenda? Seeing and hearing none, item 31 will be removed or amended to be removed. Any other changes to the agenda? Seeing and hearing none at this moment, I would entertain a motion to, no, and then item 25. I have a request by staff to remove item 25 from the agenda order. Any objection from the staff? Remove item 25? Hearing no objection, item 25 will be removed. And any other change? Yes, sir. Well, so then I can't postpone it here. I'd have to postpone it through the agenda order. Okay, so we'll keep 25. Any objection to keeping 25? All right, seeing and hearing none. Yes, ma'am. If it's not on the agenda, we're not covering it today. It depends on who your staff liaison or the contact was, but our agendas get posted when they're going to be addressed, the items. So they go out the week before. So then I defer, what item is this? Okay. So it's not on here. Okay, so it's not on the agenda for today. All right. Can we open the door for Councilor someone? Let the record show Councilor Salmon is present. I do have 5:39 p.m. So we have removed item 31 at this moment. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda order as amended.
Motion to approve is amended.
I have a motion on the floor, Councilor Thayes, to approve the agenda order as amended,
Oh,
seconded by
second.
Councilor Salmon. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. The agenda order has been approved. I remind everyone, item number 31 has been removed. Public comment, there's 30 minutes available. 3-minute rule applies per speaker. I have Miguel Duarte. Go ahead, sir. If you're speaking on any of the public hearing items, you'll have an opportunity to speak in those items specifically. Okay. Okay, for a zone change, if it's one of the public hearing items on the agenda, there's a specific, they're going to specifically speak on that item when it comes up. Yeah, thank you, sir. Isela Cardenas. All right, Daisy Maldonado. Vanessa Ordóñez. Very good. Good luck. Anybody who did not sign up but wishes to address the council? Go ahead, sir.
Uh, we want for permit approvals, IFC drawings, and one line diagram on Project Jupiter. How is it all these construction has started without permits on site? No, nobody has required or requested any documents according to construction. And it's already happening. We need more documentation on approvals, inspection reports, all that stuff related to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, seeing and hearing none. The public hearing portion of this item, this agenda is now closed, or the public comment section is now closed. We'll go to remarks and inquiries by the city council. I'll start in numerical order. Councilor Sandoval.
Yes, a common mayor. I just would like to recognize and highlight the trash cleanup event that took place back in February 21st and 22nd. Thank you to everyone involved that went out there and support. Big thank you to Santa Teresa High School students. I was able to attend Saturday morning up until midday, and I just was able to see, you know, all the cleanup event was a total success, and our residents were able to take their trash. So I just want to recognize that and highlight it publicly. Thank you very much. That is all.
No, sir.
I just wanted to highlight right now, Ms. Rito for everything that she does, and the mayor and the city manager. I know that you really worked hard on the cleaning of Sunland Park, so thank you. I know that you really worked hard. And I also wanted to comment that some people have approached me on a community center. So I would like to some support because we really need a community center for the youth to have safety.
Councilor Tate.
Thank you, sir. I'd also like to acknowledge the efforts by staff, committee members such as Ms. Brito, the Santa Teresa High School band for their efforts during the cleanup event. It was a lot of trash, and a lot of trash means a lot of areas got beautified. So again, great effort by all staff. You guys were phenomenal. You know, where else can you bring your trash up curbside and get it offloaded here in Sunland Park? So as long as we continue that effort, I think it's going to be a great effect. We also want to thank staff. We did a drive around, Mr. Rangel and I, regards to the Carlos Aguirre flood project. It's different from seeing it for the ANAPRA members, seeing it on presentation form, seeing it on a piece of paper, you know, two-dimensional versus seeing it up in person. I collaborated with Ms. Burciaga this morning. We went back out there. We got to see it firsthand, seeing where that black water formulates on the Juarez, Mexico side and funnels into the US. So something that I was cross-talking with Ms. Burciaga. Once we start cross-talking with our fellow delegates up in Juarez, be one of the concerns that we bring up. Because again, once we start dealing with hygiene, and it creates all sorts of different nuisances for the people down below. So we have to either jump into a reactionary effort or be proactive about it. But I think in this manner, we're being proactive. So again, thank you to staff for bringing this forward.
All right. From here, we go on to presentations. Item number 1, 2026 legislative session update. And for that, we have the Honorable Ray Lara, representative for our district.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and esteemed members of the council. My name is Ray Lara, for the record. I represent House District 34 in Southern Indiana, which includes Santa Teresa and Sunland Park. I am finishing my 8th year as your representative in Santa Fe, and I can be more proud to see the work that's been done in Sunland Park, the great things that are happening here, the quality of life that's improving, excuse me. And I just had a legislative update, and I also have another item that I would like to present to the council. Let me start with that legislative update. HB2, which is our General Appropriations Act, it was an $11.1 billion budget this year for the state of New Mexico. We focused on affordability, healthcare access, infrastructure investment, and workforce development while maintaining strong revenues. House Bill 2 also includes $254 million to reduce healthcare costs, stabilize premiums, and support Medicaid. Ms. Burciaga was a very strong advocate for this. Provider recruitment and loan repayment initiatives to expand access in underserved regions, interstate licensing compacts to streamline provider availability. This local impact, what it means locally, it improves provider access, reduces emergency room dependency, and strengthens the workforce stability in southern New Mexico. House Bill 200, the Housing and Economic Development, New Homes for New Mexico provides no interest loans. And I'm going to repeat this for our audience to be hearing this. House Bill 200, New Homes for New Mexico provides no interest loans for first-time home buyers and incentives for starter homes construction. This is a big deal for affordable housing, especially for us in Sunland Park and in Santa Teresa area. This is going to put many of our families into starter homes in which they deserve to have, in which I'm sure they have earned. And this is a big deal for New Mexicans. HB2 also allocated $130 million to address housing shortages and workforce housing while supporting innovation and energy infrastructure. The local impact, once again, it'll help address the housing pressure from regional growth and stabilizes the local tax base. Education and workforce, House Bill 2 provided $4.7 billion of recurring public education operations and continues universal child care investment, which is huge. Universal child care investment means that every single New Mexican who has a child that needs child care will have it paid for by the state. This will allow parents to go to work. This will allow parents to go to school. This will allow families to get a step ahead and not have to worry about their little ones not having adequate child care. The local impact, obviously, it supports Gadsden ISD and stability, and it also helps our many local small businesses who provide services as well. And that means that we generate that gross receipts tax and that we get a small business up and running while providing a benefit childcare to our families. Now for the funding. So every year, Mr. Mayor, Council, I receive a certain amount of money to allocate for projects in my legislative district. This year, I've invested in 2 projects in Sunland Park. The first project that I invested in was the Mount Cristo Rey and Bronzeville Avenue project. I appropriated $400,000 to improve those roadways for safety and drainage in the community. I also appropriated $520,000 for the Sunland Park Municipal Complex. I know how important that is to the city, and I wanted to support that in the fullest way that I could. So in total, my house appropriations for the city of Sunland Park totaled $920,000. And I'm very proud to continue that. And I know how hard everyone works here, and this is my way of supporting the work that you do as a council, and that the city manager does as well. Now I'd like to transition, Mr. Mayor and members of council, to someone who I'd like to acknowledge that's on the staff. This person works very closely with me. We talk, we strategize. I offer how I can help. He tells me, I need your help here. I need your help there. I need your support with this. I need you to help this. I need you to, what's the word that I want to say? I want you to kill legislation that's bad for the city of Sunland Park. There was a bill that was introduced that would have limited your ability as a city council to grow, to annex land. And I guess the originators of this legislation didn't realize that not only was Sunland Park going to be impacted, but the city of Albuquerque, the city of Santa Fe, Rio Rancho, Las Cruces, any municipality. So this bill that was introduced wanted to limit the capacity of our municipalities to annex property and lands so they could grow. So needless to say, that would have been very devastating to our municipalities, not only here in Sunland Park, but around the state. And I'm proud to say that that went away quietly without any hearings. And so I am always looking out for the city of Sunland Park. I'm making sure that we fight for and allocate the funding and anything that is in the best interest of the residents of Sunland Park and the city as a whole. And I wanted to mention that to you. And with that, I would like to present a legislative certificate to Mr. Mario Infante, city manager. Mr. Infante, I'd like to, Mr. Mayor, if it's okay, I'd like to read the certificate. Sure. The House of Representatives of the State of New Mexico, 57th Legislature, Second Session, 2026, recognizes Mario Juarez Infante. Whereas Mario Juarez Infante serves with distinction as city manager for the city of Sunland Park, bringing nearly 3 decades of experience in engineering, infrastructure, development, and public sector leadership to his role. And whereas Mario Juarez Infante is a native of Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, and was raised in Las Cruces, he possesses a deep understanding of the unique binational and border dynamics that shape the region and strengthen communities. And whereas Mario Juarez Infante earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering in 1997 from New Mexico State University, go Aggies. And in 2000, he completed a Master's in Transportation Engineering degree at the University of New Mexico, which prepared him for a career dedicated to advancing infrastructure, transportation systems, and regional development across the Southwest. And whereas throughout his professional career, both private and public sectors, Mario Juarez Infante has led large-scale infrastructure, transportation, and development projects, demonstrating roving experience in technical management, financial oversight, regulatory coordination, and strategic planning. And whereas prior to joining the city of Sunland Park, Mario Juarez Infante served in executive leadership roles overseeing municipal services, public works operations, and project development across multiple border states, consistently delivering accountable and results-driven governance. And whereas under Mario Juarez Infante's leadership, the city of Sunland Park continues to strengthen essential municipal services, improve operational efficiency, and advance short, mid, and long-term infrastructure initiatives that support residents, local businesses, and economic growth. And whereas from neighborhood improvements such as portable pothole repair and code compliance to the broader economic development initiatives and regional partnerships, as city manager, Mario Juarez Infante has prioritized responsive service, collaboration, and a strategic investment to enhance quality of life for the city's residents. And whereas, as Sunland Park grows as a vital gateway community connecting 2 states and 1 international border, Mario Juarez Infante continues his commitment to fostering collaboration, responsible development, and sustainable progress for families and businesses he proudly serves. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the State of New Mexico that Mario Juarez Infante be recognized and commended for his dedicated service as city manager and for his visionary leadership and lasting contributions to the city of Sunland Park and the greater border region. Signed and sealed in the capital of Santa Fe, signed by Javier Martinez, Speaker of the House, Lisa Ortiz McCutcheon, Chief Clerk, and Representative Ramondo Lara. That was.
But let's take a picture though.
Mandatory reporting. Okay.
I'll-
Do I step up there or-
I'll invite the council to stand over here with the representative and audio. Pásale, pásale, pásale. Just Representative, I just wanted to, I'll open up to the council if they have any questions.
No.
Yes, sir.
Just on my end, Representative, I just want to say thank you so much for your work at the legislature. It means so much to be able to have a friend up there in Santa Fe and to be able to go up there and whenever there is an issue that does affect the city of Sunland Park, we can count on someone to fight for us and continue to advocating for the city of Sunland Park.
Thank you,
So
Mr.
thank-
Mayor. My legislative assistant in Santa Fe, she teases me. She says that I have like that pair of boxing gloves in one of my drawers in my desk. And when I need to pull them out, I pull them out. And please know, Mr. Mayor, members, members of council, that I will fight and I will fight and fight for Sunland Park because the residents deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And then I also want to mention, we're proud to have Mario and we're glad to see that his efforts are recognized at the state level as well. So thank you for your work there, Mario. Appreciate it. From there, we'll go on to item number 2 under presentations, the SCRTD project updates. David Armijo, Executive Director.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council and to the community that's here tonight. So I had an opportunity when I was in Santa Fe recently to meet some of the council members, and I've always had opportunities to present to the council, but we've been so busy over the last 2 years. We now live next door. We used to be in Anthony, and before that, Las Cruces, and now we're in Sunland Park. So I thought it was important to come tonight. I'm going to have Daniela Gutierrez make the presentation, talk about our projects. But before we kick that off, I want to just give a little bit of an overview. One of the things that is always important to note, I'm so happy to see Mario get his moment, is that we just had our 10-year anniversary. And Mr. Mayor, you might recall there was a time in our lives when we first met back in November 2015, a decade ago. But a week ago, we had our anniversary of 10 years of bus services in this county. And quite frankly, we started primarily with Sunland Park, Las Cruces, Anthony, and Chaparral. I mean, we really didn't have anything else going on. We weren't going to Elephant Butte yet on our Blue Route or Hatch and so on. So we've evolved quite a bit, but I haven't lost track of continuing to grow and do things. And one of the projects I think we can announce that tonight if you like, Mr. Mayor. You know which one I'm talking about.
Go for it.
I'll tee it up. We'll have a photo of it. We began discussions. I know the city manager and I, several months ago, I was successful in going through the process of getting some grant funding, 2 years worth, to get this project going. We're starting a little bit late, or we could say we're starting a little bit early. Because the way we're going to do this is the transit district is going to do the local match. So we're paying for the whole thing. This is pro bono to the citizens of Sunland Park. But beginning next Monday, we will roll out a senior van program that will have a couple of buses or vans in the morning, running service half of the day. We actually launched that just last Friday. We had over 50 riders come downtown. We took them to the Museum of Fine Arts, I believe. And so, yeah, I mean, that was great. But we're really look towards those success stories. The bigger one that I try to share with people is that if you go back 10 years ago, it was me. there was no real budget. There wasn't anything else. We had 5 buses that the legislature got for us. But since then, we now pump nearly $4 million into the local economy. And that's from Elephant Butte all the way to here in Sunland Park. And so we're making a difference every day, whether you see the buses or you ride the buses or not. Those buses are doing really well. We started with 5 vehicles. We now have 36 buses and vans. So a lot's happened in the last 10 years. So with that, I'm going to allow Daniela to talk and show you some slides because pictures are worth, 1,000 words or whatever the number goes, just to see some of the things that we're doing. So to tee it off, first, I'll say that we did buy a property, 7.5 acres. We moved in or took an acquisition of the property January 15th of 2025. We've been renting that property, leasing it for about 4 years. Always buy, don't lease. Always buy, right, Mario? Always buy. So it's a better way to go. But we're not done. So we're doing a lot of improvements. But I'm going to let her take over if you don't mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I think we can go to the third slide since they had already given a little bit of history. So my name is Daniela Gutierrez. Go to the next slide, please. So one of the first projects that we're doing is the land clearing. As you can see, the green portion is underway to expand the property by 1.7 acres that will create additional usable space to enhance accessibility and unlock new opportunities for future development. Go to the next slide. That's a before and after. The green is early August of last year, and then the picture on the right is February. But as of March, which was 3 days ago, it's already all cleared. So that's going to add an additional almost 2 acres to our property that is going to be useful to us in the future expansion. Go ahead. The solar array project is the biggest project that I'm tackling right now. It's currently in the review process. This project is going to provide power to the existing facility and future expansions while supporting current and future fleet vehicles and equipment. Next slide, please. The gates replacement, that's going to be 2 gates that are going to be installed in the Sunland Park facility. We're just down the street from you guys. It's going to straighten security for the facility, safeguarding valuable materials, just like the solar array that we're going to be doing by hopefully April, May. We're going to be completed with that, hopefully, fingers crossed. And it's going to safeguard our equipment and it's going to create a safer environment for all of our staff. Next slide, please. So that's a progress as of February, but again, it's already March, so there's a lot more progress on that. The next project is the bus shelters. We're currently working with Mod Street. Mod Street is a company that offers modular solutions tailored specifically to the needs of their clients. SCRTD, along with some city staff that we met a couple weeks ago, will be installing shelters that would offer the following amenities, which is in the next slide. We're hoping that the bus shelters that we're going to be installing are going to have some of these amenities, which lighting, ADA accessibility, benches, bike racks, just to name a few. But we're still working with them. We're waiting for some renders that are going to include some of those amenities, including the city logo. Next slide, please. SCRDD is also partnering with Passio Technologies. The Passio Technologies equips and trains and enhances accessibility in our buses for riders with disabilities, track passenger ridership, real-time monitoring, and amongst a bunch of other things. Next slide, please. The office tenant improvement, we're currently working with an architect registered in New Mexico, of course, that will help us expand our administrative building and mechanical shop. As you see in that slide, kind of like on the left-hand top corner, that's our administrative building, and in our Bay area, we're going to be expanding since we continue to grow, and it's going to help with the additional fleet capacity that we have upcoming. Next slide, please. Another project that we just completed, as a matter of fact, SCRTD partnered with students from NMSU to conduct an energy assessment of the facility to help us measure overall power usage while giving the students hands-on experience. The assessment is going to help us understand and manage our energy consumption. Next slide, please. We're also working within the next 6 to 12 months. We're going to provide ADA complimentary prayer transit for the riders in Sunland Park and adjacent areas within fixed routes. This would offer shared ride reservation-based curb-to-curb and door-to-door service to people with disabilities. Next slide, please. And this is a proposal transit for the Project Jupiter. SCRTD would propose a pilot bus route to directly connect key residential areas and regional transit hubs with Santa Teresa and the industrial park to provide reliable transportation for future employees. This is something that the county is doing, not necessarily the city, but one of the best things that we can do is plan B, plan B, plan C. And then last but not least, as David mentioned, we're going to be doing the senior van pool officially starting this coming Monday, March 6th. The senior van pool routes will provide reliable transportation for seniors between their homes to senior center at the city hall. The service will include 2 dedicated routes, one serving extended distance stops and another focus on high demand areas. We have coordinated this effort with city staff, Mr. Daniel Carranco and Maribel Gutierrez. And with that, if you have any questions, thank you.
Any questions by the council?
I think regarding the shelters, I do have one. And this is something that I saw today before I went up into the senior center. The sun was beating down on this gentleman that was sitting down waiting for the station. In El Paso, the Sun Metro's got the multifaceted shelters. So they've got a front cover and a rear cover to them. And then depending on where the sun's at, like for example, the one in front of City Hall, that one gets sun baked in the front the entire time. There's something in place for that to
Correct.
remedy.
As a matter of fact, we kind of coordinated, we are going to coordinate depending on where they're going to be located, where they're going to have like a half covered. I've seen those like at EPCC where it's not going to be completely covered. It's going to be perforated metal, but that's definitely going to help with the shading. And like I said, depending on where they're located, if the sun is going to be hitting that shelter at a specific time, we'll make sure that that specific shelter or shelters are going to have the shading where the sun would be hitting. But I did meet with the city manager and Sandra, one of the city planners, a few weeks ago already, and Mott Street is going to work on not just one render. They're going to work on probably more than 4 or 5 different designs that are kind of accommodates depending on where they're located.
Outstanding. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to say congratulations on 10 years. Seems like we just started yesterday. But I mean, you've seen, from zero when it was just an idea to actually now getting, I still think we're going to hit 200,000 rides this year, David. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can hit 200,000. There we go. But, from a rocky start at the beginning, because not everyone was supportive of the transit district. But then now seeing this transformation, and just because service wasn't there didn't mean that the need didn't exist. And people hung on to that. But now you see, over 200,000 rides. We're getting close to 200,000 rides. So the need is there. So I want to thank you, David, staff, and everything you've done over the last 10 years to get us this far. And also our facilities coordinator over there working at the senior center for helping along the process and making sure that we connect the seniors to these vital services. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you. Aplauso también. All right, that concludes presentations for today. We're going to go over to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion unless the councilor requests an item be discussed and voted on separately. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent
I
agenda.
have a motion on the floor by Councilor Reyes to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second? The
Second.
motion has been seconded by Councilor Murciaga. Let me have a roll call vote on the consent agenda, please.
Councilor Milly Sandoval,
Aye.
Councilor Armando Mata,
Aye.
Councilor Roberta Salmón,
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor María Burciaga,
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
Motion carried unanimously. The consent agenda has been approved. Item number 20 under public hearing, approval of zone change 250135. Approval for a zone change from MR to and R1 to C2. Lauren Hansen, located in Southern Parks, New Mexico.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the council.
Before we proceed,
Sorry.
anybody, my apologies, that's one my bad. Okay. Any individuals that are going to speak on items 20 through 27, if you can please raise your right hand for me, please. Promise to tell the truth under penalty of perjury. All right. I remind everyone speaking on items 22 through 27 that you are under oath. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the council. Arisbe Rivas, City Planner. The applicant is requesting approval for a zone change for the 2 parcels from MR R1 to C2 located in Sunland Park, New Mexico. The application was submitted and accepted on November 4, 2025. Staff did hold a DRT meeting on February 18, 2026. Public notice were posted and mailed out before February 10, 2026. So the zone map right now, it's an MR and R1, which is our mixed residential and residential one. This is the 200-foot buffer where the letters were mailed out. If I'm not mistaken, there were more than 170 letters, right? That were mailed out. For the DRT meeting, we only have one comment from New Mexico DOT. So they only they want to know if there are any future plans for these two parcels for them to let them know in advance. This is the Doña Ana map. This is a perspective view, the area view. The parcel from Doña Ana, and this is the other parcel from the Doña Ana records. Public notice letters were mailed out. Madam Clerk, did we receive anything back?
No, ma'am.
Staff did not receive anything back. Within planning and zoning, the motion failed, but staff does recommend approval with the conditions stated below, and we stand before you for any questions.
At this moment, I would entertain a motion to approve item number 20 with the conditions mentioned by staff.
Motion to approve with conditions mentioned by staff.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilor Diaz to approve item 20 with conditions. Is there a second?
Okay.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Burciaga. Discussion by the council on this matter.
Far as planning and zoning, what was the recommendations or specifics for denial?
Motion failed. It was 2 no's and 1 yes.
Did they give specifics though? What were the recorded captures for?
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Diaz. We did, by the way, just as an acknowledgement, we did receive one comment against it, person that was present. And it was mostly related to the proposed highway that would be built somewhere in the back area of where this parcels of land currently exist. And it was due to the fact that she felt that there was no information regarding a sound barrier or sound walls, or sound barriers, I think is how she addressed them. That is not the project that we're proposing. The project here is to change 2 parcels of land. So it was a little bit off topic on it. And the commissioners recommended that there would be more collaboration as the project progressed. Again, related more to the north-south connector project than the actual zoning here. At this moment, what's has been presented to the applicant by the applicant to the city is to do a change. I can wait.
Good.
Good.
Thank you. The request is to change the zoning to be in better alignment with that highway connector that it is going to get built. I believe construction is scheduled in spring of 2027. But those meetings will, DOT will hold those meetings. At this point, city staff recommends approval because it aligns with the infield from the comprehensive master plan and aligns with the projection of that highway coming in. The current zoning again is a mobile home, single family home. And this corridor aligns more with a commercial development, zoning rather, not development, zoning. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Councilor Day?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the council? Seeing and hearing none. At this time, anybody from the public who wishes to address this matter to the council, you have the option to do so. There's 3 minutes per speaker. Seeing and hearing none. The public hearing portion of this item is now closed. Any further comments, discussion? All right, let me have a roll call vote on the matter, please.
Councilor Emily Sandoval,
Aye.
Councilor Armando Mata,
Aye.
Councilor Roberta Salmón,
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor María Murciaga,
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 20 has been approved. Item number 21, approval of an ordinance. Approval of an ordinance approving the zone change for parcels R 1604666 and R 1604668 from mixed residential and residential 1 to C2 commercial located in Sunland Park, New Mexico, zone 25-135.
So that will be only the approval of the ordinance for the zone change
Okay.
for the previous case. Yeah.
At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve item 21.
Motion to approve 21.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilor Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Burcia, I'm sorry, Councilor Salmon. Discussion by the council? Seeing and hearing none. Anybody from the public wish to address the council at this time? You have the opportunity to do so, 3 minutes per speaker. Seeing and hearing none, the public hearing portion of this item is now closed. And may I have a roll call vote on the matter, please?
Councilor Emily Sandoval,
Aye.
Councilor Armando Mata.
Aye.
Councilor Roberta Salmón.
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor María Burciaga,
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 21 has been approved. Item 22, approval of variance 26002, approval for wall signs and pole sign, Sabine Marquez, located at 1920 Appaloosa, Sunland Park, New Mexico.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, I just want to introduce this item briefly to you all. Currently, because the proposed ordinance has been placed on hold, this item had to come not only to you, but to planning and zoning for consideration. Should this that ordinance had been approved, this will now be something that will be presented here for you tonight. The reason I say that is you would see these cases coming in, but this will be the cases that will be resolved. And this particular sign, I think, and I believe that the next one will meet the same criteria, would have been under that criteria that is being proposed. That is the background. I'll defer to Ms. Rivas for the rest of the presentation.
The applicant is requesting approval for wall signs and pole sign located at 1920 Appaloosa Drive in Sunland Park, New Mexico. The application was submitted and accepted on January 7, 2026. Staff did not hold a DRT meeting. Public notice were posted and mailed out before December 23, 2025. The zone will be a commercial. This is the perspective view, the area view, some pictures with landscaping. This is the proposed of the wall signs. These are the dimensions that right now they don't comply with the ordinance. This is the pole sign. And this is the letter of statement that the applicant submitted. Public notice letters were mailed out. Madam Clerk, did we receive anything back?
No, ma'am.
We did not receive anything back. Staff and PNC recommends approval with the conditions stated below, and we stand before you for any questions.
At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve item number 22.
Motion to approve item 22.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilor Reyes to approve item 22. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Salmon. Discussion by the council.
And this one right here, this doesn't open up anything else. This is particularly just for this, doesn't allow for any other businesses to do the same. So variances would be in particular to request.
Mr. Mayor and Councilor Reyes, that's an excellent question. By approving this, it does not set a precedence, as this is a sign that does not necessarily it's the same or equal or cemetery as any other businesses. So the short answer to that is that this does not create a precedence because it's very particular on dimensions, image, and other as of architectural and design factors.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
Seeing no further discussion by the council, at this time, anybody from the public who wishes to address the council on this matter, you have the opportunity to do so. 3 minutes per speaker. Seeing and hearing none, the public hearing portion of this item is now closed. Further comments, questions by the council? May I have a roll call vote on the matter, please?
Councilor Emily Sandoval,
Aye.
Councilor Armando Mata,
All right.
Councilor Roberta Salmón,
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor María Burciaga,
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 22 has been approved. Item 23, approval of variance 25-123 Cynthia Castro, a shade structure encroaching setbacks located at 200 Edgewood Drive, Sunland Park, New Mexico.
Good afternoon, City Council. I'm Sandra Montoya, City Planner. The applicant is requesting approval for a variance for a shade structure that's encroaching the setback. The application was received and accepted on October 9, 2025, and staff did not hold a DRT meeting. Planning and zoning approved the request on November 17th, 2025, but gave the applicant 90 days to hire a structural engineer to review the structure. The property is currently zoned R1 MFTC combo. This is the perspective view, the aerial view, and that's the shade structure right there on the side. And these are the plans. And this is the letter from the structural engineer. The applicant's letter of statement. And public letters were mailed out. Madam Clerk, did we receive anything? No, Did- ma'am. We did not receive anything back. Staff recommends denial due to non-compliance with the required setback standards. If the variance is approved, the applicant must adhere to the conditions listed below. We stand before you for any questions.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve item number 23 with conditions.
Motion to approve with conditions.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilor Diaz to approve item 23 with conditions. There's a second.
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Sunland. Discussion by the council.
Can we get the rollback? What was the particulars for staff in order for the structure to meet guidance?
It was, she did get a structural engineer that said the structure is sound. And those were the requirements from planning and zoning. And she did meet those. So the next process would be to go to CID so that she can get her permits.
And staff staff.
Well, Mr. Mayor and Councilor Diaz, if you look at condition number 8, the applicant moving forward will be required and will be granted what it is believed to be a non-arbitrary and capricious timeframe of 90 days in order to comply with a registered New Mexico licensed contractor to submit this permit for CID and for them to review, inspect, and issue either a certificate of occupancy or a certificate of compliance. Those conditions in turn are with city staff feels that protect the integrity and public safety of the residents of the city of Sunland Park and any potential liability by the city of Sunland Park.
Now, technically, Councilor, staff, the position of staff is recommend what's in the code. Anything outside, typically staff should not recommend one way or the other, but it's what's in the code.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that correction.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? At this time, anybody from the public who wishes to address the council, you have the opportunity to do so. It's 3 minutes per speaker on this item. Seeing and hearing none, the public hearing portion of this item is now closed. Further comments or discussion by the council? May I have a roll call vote on the matter, please?
Councilor Milly Sandoval,
May.
Councilor Armando Mata,
Nay.
Councilor Berta Salmón,
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor María Burciaga. Councilor Raúl Telles.
Aye.
So the motion fails. The motion fails. Item 24, approval of variance 2603, approval for a mobile home in R1 MFTC zone. We have signs located at 108 Alamo Drive, Sunland Park, New Mexico, 88063.
Yes, the applicant is requesting approval for a variance to place a mobile home within the R1 MFT zone. 108 Alamo. The application was received and accepted on January 13, 2026, and staff did not hold a DR2 meeting. The property is currently zoned R1 MFTC. Letters were mailed out to the property owners within the 200-foot buffer. This is the aerial view. And these are the plans for the mobile home. And the applicant's letter of statement. Public letters were mailed out and we did receive one phone call and we had opposition to it regarding the mobile home. Staff recommends denial due to non-compliance. If the variance is approved, the applicant must adhere to the conditions listed below. We stand before you for any questions.
This moment, I entertain a motion to approve item 24.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor of the Councilor Salmon to approve item 24. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Diaz. Discussion by the council? Seeing and hearing none. Anybody from the public wish to address the council on this matter? You have the opportunity to do so. 3 minutes per speaker. And there are conditions on this one, right?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, there is, and on, page 9, if, this, council will agree or approve an amendment to that, or a change in language on that, it's just not to remove the chain link, but to replace it with a city approved, wall, whether it's a rock wall or a solid wall, because it's just not about removing the chain link. Currently, the property has chain link fence that was installed and the city is given, considering and by, consideration of the property owner, a period of 2 years with 6-month, check-ins to be able to, complete that or replace that chain link with a solid surface wall.
Matt, it's under the conditions. Is it understood by the motion that that is included in the approval? Is that correct?
And
Councilor Diaz? I still have the motion on the floor with the conditions. Any further discussion by the council? Hearing none. Anybody from the public wish to address this council on this matter? You have the opportunity to do so. 3 minutes per speaker. Seeing and hearing none. Public hearing portion of this item is now closed. Let me have a roll call vote on the matter, please.
Councilor Mili Sandoval. Aye. Councilor Armando Mata.
Aye.
Councilor Alberta Salmon. Aye. Councilor Alberto Jaramillo. Councilor María Burciaga.
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
Motion carries. Item 24 has been approved. Item 26. Approval of RP 250134, approval for a replat for a pre-K school being Christmas and Bohannon Houston located at 4129 Summer Park, New Mexico.
Hi, okay, the applicant is requesting approval for a replat for a pre-K school. The applicant will be asking for a separate address for the pre-K, which is Frenchie Montgomery. The application was accepted on December 2nd, 2025, and staff did not hold a DRT meeting. The school is not zoned, and this is the aerial view. And these are the plans for the school. Public notice letters were mailed out. Madam Clerk, did we receive any? No. No, we didn't receive anything back. Staff recommends approval with the conditions stated below. We stand before you with any questions.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 26.
Motion to approve item 26.
I have a motion on the floor of the Councilor Diaz to approve item 26. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Sandoval. I heard everyone at the same time. Any discussion by the council? Seeing and hearing none. At this time, anybody from public wish to address this matter? You have the option to do so. 3 minutes per speaker. Seeing and hearing none. The public hearing portion of this item is closed. Let me have a roll call vote on the matter, please.
Councilor Mili Sandoval. Aye. Councilor Armando Mata.
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Salmon.
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor Maria Burciaga,
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles,
Aye.
motion carries, sir.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 26 has been approved. Item 27, approval of variance 250133, approval for a wall sign and monument reface sign. Frontera Care, ABA, and Diagnostic Services, Danielle Client, located at 1276 Country Club Road, Building B. I apologize if I butchered that name.
The applicant is requesting approval for a variance for a wall sign and monument sign. The application was accepted January 29, 2026, and staff did not hold a DRT. Public notice letters were mailed out before February 10th, 2026. The property is currently zone C1. This is the aerial view and a picture of the property. And these are the plans. The applicant's letter of statement. Public letters were mailed out and our department did not receive anything back, Madam Clerk.
No, ma'am.
Staff recommends approval with the conditions stated below. We stand before you for any question.
At this moment, I will entertain a motion to approve item 27.
Motion to approve item 27.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilor Tellez to approve item 27. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Sunland. Discussion by the council? And it's understood with conditions, is that correct?
With conditions.
Hearing no discussion by the council, anybody from the public who wishes to address the council on this matter, you have the opportunity to do so. 3 minutes per speaker. Seeing and hearing none, the public hearing portion of this item is now closed. Let me have a roll call vote on the matter, please.
Councilor Milly Sandoval,
Aye.
Councilor Armando Mata,
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Salmón,
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor Maria Burciaga,
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles,
Aye.
motion carries, sir.
Motion carries. Item 27 has been approved. Now, this was my mistake. I skipped item 25. My notes, I thought we had removed it, but we didn't. I clarified that at the beginning. Item 25 is an item that was requested to be removed or postponed. So let me get a motion to approve item 25, and then I'll get a motion to postpone.
Motion to approve item 25.
So I have a motion on the floor by Councilor Tellez to approve item 25. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Sandoval. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to postpone to what specific date, time, and place?
To the 17th, council meeting. March 17th,
So next regular council meeting.
March.
the next one.
So to postpone to March 17th at the council meeting at 5:30 here at the council chambers. At this moment, I entertain a motion to postpone as such.
Motion to postpone.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilor Tellez to postpone again to March 17th here at the council chambers at 5:30. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Burciaga. Discussion on the postponement. Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Abstentions. Motion carries unanimously. Item 25 has been postponed. I do apologize about that confusion on mine. Item number 28, under new business and ordinances, adoption of the resolution for the Sunland Park Binational Comprehensive Plan 2045.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Angelica Bryan and with Wilson and Company. And thank you for the opportunity to present the Sunland Park by National Comprehensive Plan 2045 and to request council adoption this evening. We just wait for that. This short presentation will highlight the planning effort, community participation, and the key elements of the plan. The planning effort began on May 2nd of 2024 with a review of the City Comprehensive Plan of 2018. And since that time, the expo expanded to include steering committee meetings, stakeholder sessions, and by national coordination with IMIP and other agencies in Ciudad Juarez. A new community vision chapter was also added. This chapter set a long-term vision and reflects the binational setting of Sunland Park. As the survey was not in the original scope, we completed a bilingual community survey to capture community input and local priority. Next. The plan focuses on several key goals that support long-term growth. First, the plan establishes a binational planning framework, recognizing the city's unique location along the border. Second, the plan integrates major infrastructure, including the Camino Real port of entry and the Rio Grande crossing. Third, the plan supports consolidation of municipal services through one-stop shop municipal complex. And finally, land use, drainage, and transportation planning are coordinated. So infrastructure investments align with development pattern. Community vision. The community vision chapter is a major new component of this plan. It highlights my national cooperation and regional coordination. Sunland Park's future is closely linked with a larger border region. Key priorities include infrastructure investment, housing availability, and mobility improvements. The vision also promotes parks, public health, and improved quality of life. Importantly, this is a living document with annual updates and 5 years evaluation. Public participation. Community engagement occur throughout the planning effort. A steering committee meeting occurred on June 5th of 2024, and then a stakeholder workshop followed on July 10th. Also on July 12th, we have a meeting in Ciudad Juarez with the IMIP, and then a public workshop took place on September 26th, along with a binational community survey. The bilingual community survey was open from September 26th to November 24th. So it gives a plenty opportunity for people in the community to participate on this effort. So all the comments received were incorporated into the final document. The final comprehensive plan includes updated maps and visual graphics. This includes a revised future land use map, infrastructure maps, and illustration of community facilities and transportation connections. The plan is also aligned with the Land Development Code which was adopted on November 5th of 2025. This alignment ensures policy and guidance and development regulations and make sure that all of these remain consistent. The plan also reflects recent organizational changes, including formation of the Municipal Water and Wastewater Authority. And key additions. So following the public comment, we send the document for review and comment. We put it like for the public and also steering committee and the stakeholders. And after that, after a 30 days process, we receive comments, and those comments we incorporated into the new plan, right? And so we received like some additions that includes a future land use vision for 2045 with 8 land use categories. Also, the motor campus project at 1665 Futurist Drive is also included, right? The motor campus, as we already presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission, they want to put it like a museum that will be open to the public of vehicles, like antique vehicles, antique cars. It will be a motor museum, a trade and mobility school, and a community plaza. That is part of the motor campus, and which is right now Globo Rojo. And also we have transportation coordination was also expanded, including the High Mesa Road planning and port of entry improvements and Interstate 10 corridor strategies. Since we started with the plan, we have a recent annexation. And if you can see here on the maps, you have the previous city limits, a map with the previous city limits, and then you see the recent annexation And then you see the updated current city limits. So this new plan integrates all of that. So it was revised to integrate the new annexed area. So on January 14, 2026, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the plan. And this evening, I'm requesting the final adoption of the plan of the Sunland Park by National Comprehensive Plan 2045. And once adopted, the plan would guide zoning decision, infrastructure planning, by national coordination, and grant application. In closing, there are points that are important. First, the plan is a living document supporting long-term sustainability growth. Second, the plan focuses on implementation, not storage. And third, recommendation for next projects and community priorities. So this is about bilateral coordination, benefits Sunland Park and surrounding region. Thank you, Mayor and Council Member, for your time this evening, and we are happy here to answer any questions. Yes.
Any questions by the council?
How's this gonna align with the reappeal if it goes through?
With the
Reappeal for those annexations that
Oh.
took place last year?
reappeal, or the repeal of the. Are we on?
So. The comprehensive plan. That's a big regulation. Doesn't have. To expand on more comprehensive master plan is a guiding. Higher third level plus. Okay. We recognize it, but between those 5 years. One of the things I like to draw your attention to is the fact that we have integrated the National Recreational Parks Association guidance in this document. And that's very important. Many of us have practiced on the technical field. If you're practicing in engineering or if you're practicing in surveying somewhere else, you have really design criteria. There's really not a strong on the landscape side of things, a really strong criteria that's nationally accepted. A lot of municipalities develop their own standards. And so by adopting that, it gives the community planning folks a guidance. That's going to become very important because we have had issues and are paying for sins from 10, 15 years ago with respect to parks. So I do want to highlight that too.
Thanks, sir.
Now, before I entertain a motion. So the planning and zoning already approved this.
Yes.
Okay. Believe it's already approved.
No.
Because thing is, state statute 319.9 says the planning commission shall prepare and adopt a master plan for the physical development of the municipality.
Yes, a master plan. This is a comprehensive plan.
This is separate. This is different from that.
Different, yes. A master plan is like an area plan for a new development.
Ah, okay.
That's a master plan.
Okay, I always interpret this as the part of the comprehensive plan.
No, a master plan is just like an area plan.
Okay,
And a comprehensive plan is like,
that's where
citywide.
that's where definitions matter, right?
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate that.
yes, a comprehensive plan is citywide, so it can comprehend like different.
Yeah, no,
Master
and
plan.
yeah, and it's coming to me like a master plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we deal with master plans all the time. Absolutely. All right. Any further questions by the council? Well, let me entertain a motion to approve item number 28.
Motion to approve item 28.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilor Reyes to approve item 28. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Sunmore. Further discussion by the council? Seeing and hearing none. Let me have a roll call vote on the matter, please.
I am sorry. Councilor Milly Sandoval,
Aye.
Councilor Armando Mata,
Aye.
Councilor Berta Salmón,
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor María Burciaga,
Aye.
Councilor Raul Tejas.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
All right, motion carries. Item 28 has been approved. Item 29, consideration and action for approval of MOU between COSP and Johnson Controls for a business case analysis for CRUA.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to just introduce tonight Matt Vicario with Johnson Controls. He came to us a couple months ago and had an opportunity to get to meet him, some of his team members he'll introduce tonight, and talk a little bit about some of the services that they offer at a national level with respect to energy conservation, cost reductions, and efficiencies, specifically tonight with respect to the utility world of water and wastewater. So Matt, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Thank you for allowing me to have a few minutes to speak this evening. My name is Matt Vaccaro, as City Manager Infante just said, and I am a Senior Director with Johnson Controls, responsible for our business across Mexico and Arizona, specifically as related to municipal infrastructure type projects. And as City Manager Infante said, this meeting came about as a result of a discussion between city staff and his team, our team, and addressing specifically some of what we believe are some technologies that might be possible related to your water systems. So the purpose of this discussion tonight is in regards to a memorandum of understanding, which simply stated is an exchange of information between our two organizations. It is an opportunity for us to discover more about what might be possible, how we can work together, and what services and how, in fact, there may be a project to be developed. In other words, kind of a viability study, if you might. That's the purpose of this discussion. See, next slide, please. So if you're not familiar with Johnson Controls, we're a company that's been in business well over 100 years. We work worldwide with numerous employees, and specifically, as you can see, we have quite a large staff both here in New Mexico and in Texas, many of whom are based just over in El Paso. So we do a variety of building services, everything related to air conditioning, to building automation, fire, security. Specifically, my role in life has to do with sustainable infrastructure, which is, I think City Manager Infante put a little more simply, has to do with sustainability and energy efficiency for cities. Well, I don't know where the guys in marketing come up with these terms, but I'm forced to repeat them, unfortunately. All right, next slide, please. So this slide, to me, summarizes my 30+ years of experience of dealing with municipalities here in the Southwest. There are so many common themes and so many common issues that you deal with as a city. Bottom line is there's never really enough budget dollars to go around to solve all the things that you want to accomplish. And I heard your congressman before talk about almost $1 million invested into the community. That's wonderful. But gee, wouldn't it be great if there was a couple million more to do a few other things? Of course. So that's our mission in life. And I'll give you a quick education over the next couple of slides about how we work under a program that in fact helps to fund a number of these kinds of projects. So think about water meters, which is a big part of this discussion, as kind of the cash register for the city. That's what generates revenue through your enterprise fund of the water department. And I know that's a recent acquisition for you and one that you're working hard to improve and provide better services. And so that's part of what we intend to address. Next slide, please. So quick education here on a term that maybe you're not familiar with, which is, excuse me, performance contracting. So as I mentioned, there is a piece of legislation here in the state of New Mexico, just like there is in the state of Arizona, and frankly, in all 48 other states. They're all a little bit different, but the basics are really the same. And what the basics are is that through the types of projects that we intend to implement, and hence the reason for doing this initial business case analysis, analysis to determine the viability of a project is that we intend to find savings and use those savings in order to fund the project. And those savings are real dollars. They are operational savings. They have to do with rebates. They have to do with maintenance savings, utility reductions, a number of different buckets that can fall into. And as part of how the legislation is written, we guarantee those savings. That's written into the contract. And that's not just, hey, we'll make sure that you get the savings. There's actually protocols that we have to follow under state legislation that proves to the city on an annual basis that in fact those savings are being achieved. And if in fact that those savings are not achieved and there is a shortfall, then contractually Johnson Controls is liable to write a check back to the city for whatever that differential is. So there's real teeth in it. Next slide, please. So here's a graphical representation, kind of simplified, but it'll give you a pretty good idea of kind of how these go together. So the big blue box on the left there is what you're currently spending for utilities, maintenance, operations, all of that. And the intention through these types of projects is to turn part of that box green from the savings that I mentioned. Things like capital cost avoidance, operational maintenance savings. And those are the savings that are used to fund these types of projects. And again, they're guaranteed under these types of contracts. That's why they're called an ESPC, Energy Savings Performance Contract. Who knows? We all need more acronym in our life, right? You know, when I joined the company, they gave me an email that, I am not exaggerating, had at least 50 or 60 acronyms that I had to know. I'm just glad there wasn't a test on it because I didn't know. All right, next slide, please. So where have we done this? Who has utilized this and what have been the results? So initially, when I reached out to City Manager Infante, I sent him a case study of the city of Las Cruces, which obviously he knows a little bit about. Sure, you're all somewhat familiar with. We've actually done 3 phases of projects, mostly pertaining to the types of technologies that we believe can also be implemented here in Sunland Park. And you can see the amount of annual revenue that was increased and saved for the city. Now, granted, I know they have a couple more water meters and a little bigger plant than Sunland Park has, but the point is significant dollars. You know, we're not talking about saving a few $1,000s a year on a copier contract that the city has. We're usually dealing in millions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings. So it can be a significant improvement for the city. We did also touch on several of their city buildings and did some improvements, kind of what I call meat and potatoes, things like air conditioning, lighting, building automation, things of that nature. Next slide, please. We did 4 phases of projects over in El Paso. And I included this not only because obviously it's close, but also it gives you an idea of how these projects or how these programs are designed. We're talking about water here in Sunland Park, but you can see from El Paso, we did street lights, traffic lights, we did a bunch of stuff at the airport. And again, we did multiple phases over a number of years. And that was a 7-8 year period that we worked, and we continue to work for them and do maintenance and things of that nature. And we continue to do our annual measurement and verification, which I referred to earlier, is how we prove that in fact those savings are happening. So there's lots of opportunities for these types of projects. And that's why the legislation was written, that, as I stated earlier, there's never enough budget dollars to go around to address all the different needs within a city. Next slide. So here's a city that's more comparable in terms of size to Sunland Park. So it was about 5,300 water and gas meters. And we did 2 phases with them also. Now, the thing to note about 2 phases is the first phase we did back in 2004. And then we did a technology upgrade to their water meter system, and that occurred in 2020. So we must have been doing something right for almost a 15, 18-year period for them to hire us back to do another phase. And we're obviously proud to do multiple phases with companies, do what we say that we're going to do. Okay, next slide, and you'll all be glad to know it's the last slide. There you go. I cut it down from like 50 slides.
Oh, thank God.
You're welcome. The city tomorrow night, they're getting the full 50 slide version, just because I'm in the mood to do that. So where we are is obviously where the blue arrow is. We've had some initial concept introductions with city manager Infante and staff. There's a lot more discovery to be done. The business case analysis, if you choose to approve our memorandum of understanding tonight, please know that there is not a monetary cost associated with this initial step. There is some cost involved. We'll need staff time. We'll need some information, some things of that nature. And we're going to roll up some time with our engineering team and what have you. But the reason for doing it that way initially is we all think this is a good idea. We think that there's a project here. But let's size it up a little bit. Let's do a preliminary scope so that we understand the economic viability of it. The output from this initial analysis will be a report, not a lengthy one, a briefing really is what it turns out to be. And it will give us a range. It will give us a range of what we believe the costs and savings and technologies are that can be used. And if we then agree, hey, this is a good idea, there's something viable here, that's when we'll be able to provide a cost to the city for engineering design and project implementation, and we'll work into that going forward. Now, keep in mind that that next step, which is the investment grade audit, and I'll explain to you why it's called investment grade, but that next step is one that will give us all the specifics right down to the last dollar amount of cost of project, savings, and all of that detail. And the reason that, as I said, it's called an investment grade audit is because it is a contract that the city, should they choose to go and get financing, use the savings to pay for that, a bank will lend against that. And there's a number of banks that they like these kinds of investments because cities are a really good credit risk and we're guaranteeing the savings. So it's a good deal for them. That's if you choose to do it that way. Otherwise, you can just fund it out of savings if you so choose. But that's another discussion another day. I got a little ahead of myself, but I wanted to give you an overview of kind of the next steps. So that's where we are, and that's what would take place next. Thank you. I appreciate the time. We believe there is really something to do here, and we would enjoy working together. So thanks for your consideration.
Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 29.
Motion to approve item 29.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilor Tejas to approve item 29. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Sunland. Questions by the council?
Once the MOU begins the process, what's the duration of the contracts thereafter?
So there's two answers to your question. Duration of the contract in terms of the day we execute it to the time that we finish implementation typically is probably close to a year to do all of this kind of work. I'll have a better answer for you once we scope it out a little bit better. But the duration of the contract, to answer the second part of your question, also can range over a number of years. By state legislation, it says that we have to guarantee those savings for a minimum of 3 years. Most customers, like Las Cruces and others, have chosen to do it over the course of the entire life cycle of the equipment. So that can be 10 plus years.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Now, give me so this agreement, the city is entering with Johnson Controls, but Crew is still a separate entity. So how are we approaching this?
I was anticipating the question. So on August 25th, 2025, there was a resolution passed by the county. And I'm just going to read the last paragraph. The Board of County Commissioners hereby confirms that it recognizes that any investments made by the City of Sunland Park on infrastructure within the municipal boundaries will belong to the City of Sunland Park upon the full dissolution of the joint powers agreement, and request that the City of Sunland Park provide similar written confirmation of their recognizing county investments and will belong to the county. So there's a whole resolution that touches on other aspects, but I'm just hitting the bullet here.
So when we look at the utility right now, we're just looking at what's within, we're gonna look at just within Sunland Park,
Only within the corporate
not
limits.
the entire utility.
That is correct.
Okay. Any other questions by the council? All right, seeing and hearing none. May I have a roll call vote on the matter, please?
Councilor Milly Sandoval,
Aye.
Councilor Armando Mata,
Aye.
Councilor Berta Salmón.
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor Maria Burciaga.
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 29
Thank you,
has
Matt.
been approved. Thank you, appreciate it. Item 30, consideration and action for approval of 16 de Septiembre Community Festival.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm going to introduce, is it Leslie? Lisale. I'm always going to get it wrong. Just had an opportunity to meet these two wonderful ladies, really have an intriguing idea. You're going to be really impressed by their presentation tonight. They do come with facts as opposed to matters of opinion. And so we're really excited to have them present to you tonight on an opportunity that hopefully the council will consider.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Mayor and City Council members, good evening. As it was stated before, we're here to talk to you about the partnership with the City of Sunland Park. If I could have the next slide, please. What we're going to do today is explore this partnership, share our approach, and how it aligns with your strategic vision. It was 2 items before we talked about the comprehensive plan. And again, answer any questions you may have. Next slide, please. As you all know, the City of Sunland Park has been experiencing an unprecedented growth, as you see in your cannabis sales, as you see also in the trade volume that's happening in this. Next slide, please. And I'm moving very swiftly because we said we have 5 minutes. That's what we were informed. What we're trying to do is help you execute your vision. By 1945, Sunland Park will be a thriving multimodal binational community where families prosper, businesses flourish, and cultures blend into 2 national collaborative that foster shared prosperity. What we are planning or proposing is a festival that would spur your economic development and also build community engagement in this area. Next slide, please. So the results of the comprehensive plan, there was a survey done, and 69% of respondents stated that they wanted more restaurants and gathering spaces. Moreover, about 64% of respondents wanted more parks and recreational amenities in this area, and 55% sleep creation center. So based on those results, it is obvious that people want more opportunities to celebrate their culture, celebrate in their local community. Next slide, please. So what we're proposing is a 16 de Septiembre festival, which has significant cultural significance to this area. And it also anchors on your objectives of economic development, economic opportunities, and cultural assets. And we also have a bi-national advantage where you are in the tri-state area where you share with 2 states, Texas and New Mexico, as well as cross the state. The event details are a festival for a 1-day festival on September 19th. The venue would be the Sunland Park Sports Complex. Expected attendance, we have in the range of 3,000 and 5,000. And we feel that we could draw participants or attendees from the 50-mile radius. Next slide, please. So what is the economic care for your case for your investment? We see a direct economic impact of about $500,000 to $1 million in potential sales from attendee and vendor sales and other sales that would be generated as part of the festival. The per person spending is about at $50 on average. And this would be on-site spending for food, vendors, activities, and of course, ticket sales. Overnight visitors, if you did approve this event, you would start with the bands that would stay in anywhere in this region and impact our number. The economic multiplier effect that we're looking at is 1.4 for every dollar that is spent in inside the festival. We see a 1.4 around the region. Next slide, please. What does success look like for this festival? We would help Sunland Park establish a destination for cross-border cultural celebrations. Organic marketing attendees would be ambassadors through social media and word of mouth. We would socialize the idea with our local vendors and your local business community. We would help establish a sense of pride in your community. And we would give you a framework where you could replicate that model year after year and maybe expand on those opportunities. We would also, again, infuse economic development with local vendors. And as of today, we socialize the idea casually with some of our contacts, and we've already have interest on sponsors from a credit union, an alcohol vendor, and a social digital marketing, correct? Okay, so our estimated direct economic impact scenarios, next slide, please. We're looking at about 2,000 attendees on a conservative model where the direct investment would be about $200 per person. Now we're taking consideration inside the festival and outside in the local vendors. And that would be about a $400,000 direct economic impact. If we look at a medium attendance scenario, about 3,000 attendees, then the economic impact would be about 600,000. On a high end, 5,000 attendees, the economic impact is about $1 million of economic impact. Slide, please. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Carmona.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Josie Carmona, and I am a co-founder of Vista Lane Consulting, and I just appreciate the time that you all taken tonight to listen to us. I am the logistics person, so I'm going to break down the proposal and kind of talk about the planning phase, the implementation phase, and the evaluation phase, and what that cost would look like. And so what we're attempting to do with this proposal is to bring about building capacity within the city. So our goal is not that we would plan everything. We would work collaboratively with whomever you all designate as our partners in developing this festival and helping to develop systems and proposals related to how you could replicate this down the road. So the planning phase includes an economic impact study that gives you even more details. What we've included in the proposal are general pieces of information related to economic development. We would further drill down and use data from Sunland Park to actually increase the detail related to the economic impact. And then the biggest win here would be an operations plan that you could actually replicate. And you could apply this to numerous festivals. We could expand the festival from 1 day to 2 days to 3 days. It could be a variety of types of sports events. We know that the complex is open to lots of different types of events. And then we would also work with the planning committee. So we would pull together your planning committee. We would work with the city manager and their staff to ensure that the right folks were on the committee, and we would work with them from now until execution day. So that's the planning phase. The implementation phase is we would actually serve on site that day. And we would hire a project manager, and then we would be there for event day support. Both Dr. Madrigal and I have experience with large events in our, I won't say how long we've been in the industry, but long history. And so we would be on site as support. And then the third phase would be evaluation phase. So then we would say, okay, these were the results. Within 30 days, we would document attendance, economic impact, lessons learned, and recommendations. And then we would conduct a presentation with you all. Next slide, please. And so here's just a breakdown of those costs. So the full partnership bundle, if you chose to go with all three, there would be a slight discount with that. It would be $25,000 for all three. Of course, we are open to just doing the first part. If that's all you're interested in, we'd be more than happy to partner with the city in that respect. But I wanted to share with you why Vista Lane, and I think this is important. One of our co-founders who lives in Fort Collins, Colorado, obviously couldn't be here in person, but we have extensive background in public administration and organizational development foundations. We use proven frameworks, Baldrige, Lean Six Sigma, ProSci change management. But I think for me, one of the most important and critical pieces of the way that we work is we use a human-centered practice. And so we really want to use this as an opportunity to help build capacity within your community and develop systems that are long-lasting. And we also want to make sure that your plans become a reality. And so today we would like to hear any questions that you may have on the extensive proposal, and we'll open it up to questions.
Right at this, well, okay. So what's being proposed though is you're providing three options?
Yeah, I'm recommending the three, the 25,000.
Okay,
And it would, because it's tourist related, we would be drawing from outside the city of Sunland Park. We would utilize it out of our lodger's tax.
just so I know how the motion, to call the motion, because if there's three options, then.
Yeah, motion to approve the three, the bundle.
Okay, so at this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve item 30 with the $25,000 bundle.
Motion to approve item 30 with the $25,000 bundle.
I have a motion on the floor made by Councilor Reyes to approve item number 30 with the $25,000 bundle. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Councilor Burciaga. Discussion by the council.
Past events, what can we reference of your past events? Something we could say, they highlighted this, they hit the ball out of the park, and it's a viable solution for the city of Sunland Park to invest in.
Absolutely. I was executive director for the Festival Association under the Empowerment Zone. You're going to force me to tell you when, about 2005. We spurred we had a series of festivals on Texas Avenue, Ascarate Park, as part of funding we had $10 million from HUD to expand the Empowerment Zone. And part of that economic spur was having these festivals on Texas Avenue. If you visited Texas Avenue in the early 2000s, there was no activity there. Now, if you go down Texas Avenue after our event, we had a series of events for about 4 years. You could see that there's more stuff there, more businesses. The city now has a location there. Galeria San Isidro used to be there. There was a lot of events, and we had about 10,000 people attend. One day of beer sales was about $50,000 just on beer. That's without vendors. That's without entrance tickets.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions by the council? Yes.
I wanted to clarify because I failed to explain that our costs will actually be recovered by you all because we will build in these costs into the operating budget. And so the goal is for you to recover all of your upfront investment and then have net profit thereafter. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
And this is a one-time,
No, this is a trial, right?
well. Yeah, but I mean,
Because the intent, there's so much opportunity here. And I had other conversations with these two professionals. And very quickly, I learned that some of the ideas that I had weren't as viable. And so for me, it's a humbling lesson learned that sometimes we believe we know what we need, but we really got to bring the experts in. So this is a great first step forward.
And I want to say, I think we've done things in the past, but we have always counted on, volunteers and, people who don't have the expertise. I think this is the breath of fresh air. I think that we can, take in and see how this goes. So I'm excited about this if the council approves. I don't know. Any questions? Any other questions by the council? All right, at this time, let me have a roll call on the matter, please.
Councilor Emily Sandoval,
Aye.
Councilor Armando Mata,
Aye.
Councilor Berta Salmón,
Aye.
Councilor Alberto Jaramillo, Councilor Maria Burciaga,
Aye.
Councilor Raúl Telles.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 30 has been approved.
Thank you all so much. Have a great evening.
You too. And thank you for waiting till the very end. There you go.
Thank you, ladies.
City manager report.
Gordon, I'm just gonna ask the clerk, after every meeting, go ahead and just, release it to the council. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time. I'm gonna kind of push through it since we've had a long day. That's really why I provided to you. But let's look at, the second slide where we lay out the agenda items that are gonna be discussed. So within the, city manager's report, when it comes up here, just wanted to highlight a few things. One, we just got our funding agreement for the next watershed over to the Carlos Aguirre area for 2.5 million. So that was great news to get that funding agreement in place. I do want to highlight that was at one-time disaster funding that's available. Next slide. And so don't plan on having construction done for another 12 months because this is one of those rare opportunities where we combine design and construction. Also just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on the, go back, yeah. I'll give you an update on the MVD renovation. I'll show you some key dates on the Rio Grande Trail designation, which is exciting for this area. I'll also just let you know that we just submitted a funding application. It'll be heard tomorrow with the Paso del Norte Health Foundation for about $2.1 million. Part of that will include 300,000 for wayfinding, which is also very exciting for the users of the outdoor Rio Grande Trail. I'll give you an overall summary of the 2026 capital outlay. The representative did talk a little bit about what the House provided, but I'll give you the overall total. Again, we heard from council comment on the solid waste. We just have a few numbers there to show you, and then we'll conclude, probably spend most of our time talking a little bit about the Premier Entertainment District. Next slide. Next. Again, there's a copy of our agreement. Next. Just to remind you, these are the primary areas that it's addressing. That watershed does emanate on the Mexican side. Next. That's a view of the watershed that affects this area. Next. Next. One of the items that was on the consent agenda, and thank you for passing that, was this resolution for our next Colonias funding application that goes in and will be considered, believe it or not, during the 2027 legislative session. It's just shy of $5 million from Sunland Park Drive over to San Gabriel to reconstruct that roadway. Very much needed. So I really just want to give you a photo there on the lower left that if you've gone out there and you looked at that road, it's in really bad shape. And incidentally, a lot of the reasons is that we have shallow groundwater and we have light industrial park in that area, large concrete bumpers that burst that street every day. And of course, it's only exacerbating the surface condition. Next. Project limits for that project. Next. We also have a sewer project. I'm going to ask Mr. Crosby to please come up here and talk a little bit about the funding application for the sewer project.
Thank you very much, Mayor and council members. Regarding the lift station, it's going to be the south lift station, which is approximately located behind, for the manhole, sorry, wrong project. For the manhole, we have this year, I wanted to discuss before I jump into this, I know he's not here, but I wanted to thank Representative Lara. He gave us $5 million in 2023. And a lot of the manhole rehabilitation projects that we got completed this year were in part due to the funding that he gave us, as well as for other funds. In continuation of the manhole project rehabilitation, we have identified areas along Futurity, as well as throughout McNutt. As you know, a couple weeks ago, we also had these manholes collapse right on the street. So we had to put traffic control and delay traffic for a little bit, but it's going to be very, very vital for those manholes to be restored. It is a collection system that goes into the wastewater plant. And right now we've estimated that they're probably about 20 years past their life expectancy. So we don't get these manholes repaired. They'll continue to cause very expensive repairs if they're not done. And been very fortunate with the Colonias applications. They've been improving the submissions that we've been submitting, and they are all planned out and from our ICIP. So it's a strategic plan in regards to the direction that we're going to fix our utility.
Next. Next. A couple things I want to just point out here on our old MBD. There, we have put some investment into some TI improvements, tenant improvements. One of the important highlights is that shade in aqua blue that you see at the bottom of the screen. That's bad, right? Super bad. It's telling you we're in a floodplain. Even worse in this particular case, it's what we call a zone A and with a BFE, no base flood elevations. And so to develop in this area, it becomes very costly. How costly? It'll cost you 3 times as much just in engineering analysis than the cost of the parcel of land and that whole building, right? And so we've got a plan of some future self-performance to be able to move this corner forward. And so that's why we're investing on some of the tenant improvements that we're talking about here. A couple key dates. At the end of this month, we should have our final plans ready for us to determine what the cost of investment is going to be, so we can make informed decisions, and whether we want to self-perform those improvements or if we want to put those out to private contractor. Next. An illustration of the floor plan. Really the space that we're looking at, for those of you that have been in the old MBD, we're going to have a very flexible space where the lobby area was. And then directly to the west, we're going to develop and improve that for office space, and it also does have a kitchen and storage. Next slide. Next. So tonight there was a resolution in your packet under the consent. One of the approved items was this resolution for the trail designation identified in the thick yellow line there at the bottom. This is the map that's being shared with the Rio Grande Commission. There will be a meeting here on April 10th from 9 to noon in Las Cruces. Folks over in Santa Fe shared with me that as soon as they set the location, they will let me know, and I will make sure we work through the clerk's office and get you guys all that information in the event you wish to attend. Within the PowerPoint, you're going to see the lower italicized underlined text. That is a hyperlink. You'll be able to hit that and go to the Rio Grande Trail Commission so you can learn a little more about them. Next. Next. This is just a copy of the funding application. Again, tomorrow it'll be up for consideration. The great news is you're the only applicant. So Paso Norte Foundation reached out to us. We've been in communication for a couple of years. They were out here about 6 weeks ago. They have some funding that's available. It needs to be spent very quickly. And so they went ahead and reached out to us and had us submit a formal request for proposal. But in this case, we're the only applicant. It's being taken before the board tomorrow. Next. Here's just a quick summary of the capital outlay. Total for the city is 3.7 million. You can see the breakdown there. You got the municipal complex, 1.4, Sunland Park complex, recreational fields, 1.5. We asked for 200,000 on the South Lift Station. We didn't ask for a whole lot, but what we do with this sort of money is we're able to leverage it against some federal funding, use it as a match. So from that perspective, it becomes very, very important. And then we have 400,000 for Cristo Rey Bronze. A little bit of background history. In the last 16, 18 months, we've had issues really with 3 streets. Cristo Rey is one, probably the widest runway in the city of Sunland Park. And then Bronze Hill, similar, but not as wide. The issue there is that it's very long and very straight, which is bad planning, bad design. And then we're having some issues also with San Gabriel. The reason we didn't add San Gabriel in here is because we do have a development that's planned right now. And with that ongoing development, part of the conditions for their traffic safety evaluation is going to be taking San Gabriel into consideration. And some of those safety improvements will be on, will have to be borne by the developer. Next. Next. Again, thank you all. Private citizens, public citizens. I know many of the council members were there on Saturday. Just some quick numbers: 22 containers, 58.81 tons of trash, 2.67 tons per container. I echo Petit, you know, who else gets driveway service, right? That's pretty awesome, right? The best way to lead is to serve. I 100% believe it. Next slide. All right, and lastly, I attended a meeting a couple weeks ago with our mayor pro tem. I'm sure they'll probably, I'll conclude this meeting today with, we'll talk about some dates for the retreat, which will probably have a lot of discussion. But what I wanted to do is just let you know that this is a pretty incredible opportunity. I have a short video that our IT guys are going to put up here because I can't bring you that experience, right? Unless you're there for you to be able to see. And but what I will tell you today, and then I'm going to ask perhaps Mayor Pro Tem to share some of their thoughts, is that I have released a task order for an appraisal of some property that we're looking at for this potential development, this entertainment destination. I've also sent in some information to another consultant that specializes in the Metropolitan Redevelopment Act to request a task order, and we'll be moving forward with the purchase order to get that process going. The MRA is very important for those of you that aren't familiar because it allows us to essentially take real estate that has been unused since the creation of Earth, and it allows municipalities a way to work around the anti-donation law for economic development and the betterment of the community. I also have been working with our financial advisor. We've put together some preliminary numbers. One of the opportunities maybe most municipalities or folks may not be aware of, but we can actually borrow against 60% of the future revenue that are going to be earned for hotels, right? So essentially what you're looking at is you build a hotel room of, let's just say we have 100 rooms, 60% would be 60% occupancy based on rates, and then how much can we actually afford to build, right? And so we've got some preliminary numbers that we're running now. I've got a meeting coming up with American Resort Management first week of April, and that's because March, as you can imagine, is spring break, and so everybody's like extremely busy, right? So we went ahead and delayed it till April to have some communication with the folks that are the experts. Again, you heard me say experts earlier, and let's bring the experts in. But the idea is that here, this calendar year, we'll be focusing on putting a feasibility study. So as you heard tonight, some of these things are already in momentum. Next slide. These are the 4 parcels that we're looking at right now. They should look very familiar because at the top of the screen, we see the municipal complex and our multi-generational facility. Everyone that has not been to Sunland Park comes here for the first time. We've had the State Transportation Commission here last November, folks from all over New Mexico. We've had Department of Finance Administration for the first time since the creation of this city actually attend, and they loved it. We hear nothing but positive feedback from our guests. And so the 23.28 acres is the area that we're looking at getting appraised and doing some due diligence work. And of course, we continue to just take advantage of the Rio Grande Bosque and mountains there. Next. And then I'm going to ask David to go ahead and play the short video. It's about 30 seconds long. After that, Mayor, if you could say a few things about what you liked about the Grand Prairie destination, and Mayor Pro Tem, if you could do the same, then I'd be happy to answer any questions after. Thank you.
Well, while we wait for that,
So tonight we heard a lot about vision, and throughout the course of time, when we hear Sunland Park residents, lifelong Sunland Park residents, born and raised here, we start talking about vision. I can't include myself in the we because I'm not original to Sunland Park, but again, as many of you have heard my speech, this is going to be the place where I retire. This is where I hang my hat. This is where my daughter's going to grow up, where my family's going to thrive. And keynote on thrive. We start talking about visions. We start talking about infrastructures. We start talking about improving life in general for Sunland Park. This is a pristine opportunity for Sunland Park to say, here we are. We exist on a national level. And the project that we were privileged to see started off with that vision. We heard a mayor that's been in existence for about 15 years in Grand Prairie, Texas. Grand Prairie, Texas, his words were that Grand Prairie was the armpit of the Dallas municipality area. They'd go from Dallas into Arlington. They'd go to every other major suburb area in that area. Grand Prairie was a pass-through. when you see the dynamics of what this can bring to a city like ours and turn us into a national regional hub for entertainment, not only for the local residents here of Sunland Park, but you're talking about we're tapping into Las Cruces, we're tapping into our neighbors over in El Paso, Juarez, Chihuahua. And look at what El Paso does. El Paso pulls our dollars into El Paso. It's time for Sunland Park to say, we exist. We need to bring those dollars back this way. We need to think about long-term revenue. Because a lot of the conversations we've had with city manager, we're looking at cannabis as a whole. If and when, I say when, Texas legalizes cannabis, what makes you think that they're going to come over here and, you know, and leave their tax money, leave that money here in Sunland Park? It's only a matter of time. But we need to think big. We need to think outside the box. We need to see and move forward with a vision that's going to put Sunland Park on the map at a regional level. Thank you.
Play the video. Was it had audio? Huh? There's inspirational music in the background. So, what Councilor Diaz mentioned, and Mayor Pro Tem mentioned was absolutely true. It's Grand Prairie was, it was a pasture, and they had a vision to turn it into a destination, and they had 150 acres of farmland. And they've created into this space where people go. One of our constituents, I remember, loaded a video on Facebook, and it was the fountain display they had in this. It's a retention pond that they made into a water feature, and they do light shows on the fountains. They have the system that the Bellagio has, but then they do light shows on that with different scenes and things like that. And we were there. They had like a Tejano and Juan Gabriel. But they've created a destination. They put their senior center there. It's a senior center on steroids. I mean, it's a phenomenal place. And then they built a hotel, convention space. And one of the issues that they were trying to deal with is the fact that the police officers and their firefighters, when they had the Christmas party, they couldn't do it in the community. They had to go to the neighboring community because they had nothing available within their community. So they built a space where they can go to the convention and then they can stay in the hotel and be safe. And I think that's kind of what I think we're striving for. We want to be a destination. And to see these projects like the water park that they have, the recreation center that they built, I mean, an enormous space with an indoor track with a two-story track inside. I mean, it was a phenomenal place. Obviously, we don't have the same amount of dollars, but I think if we do things right, we plan things accordingly, we can bring some of those things to the city as well. So I personally, if this council would support something like that, I would be very excited and very happy about having that amenity built here within the city of Sunland Park. Because not only will we help the people that live here to stay here and enjoy themselves here, you can drop your kids off there and go do your own thing, but then we're going to bring other people to the area, and that's what we want. We want to bring more tourists, and we want to bring more to this space and make it really the place where people want to live, work, and play. So those are my comments there.
Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my presentation. You'll get a copy of it. If you have any questions tonight, be happy to answer them.
Any
If you have
questions for the
later, let me
council?
know. Thank you.
Well, I did have a quick question on was there other funding that we got through the water trust board as well?
Yes, so we just received $4 million to construct a sustainable flood control channel that's being dual designed as a road. So we have to disguise the infrastructure to fit the funding eligibility. So it's a channel. And its maintenance road is a multi-purpose trail. And we're going to grade everything. So part of the reason why the 1.5 million for parks is because we're grading everything. When we're done, the area for the next soccer field will be ready, right? So we're able to move all that dirt and pay for it under the flood control. But the reality is a separate funding will actually build the next field.
Okay. And then on the tenant improvements for the old MUD, that there's no funding source identified yet.
That is correct.
So once this evaluation is complete, we'll see what those numbers are, and that'll be brought to the council.
That's correct. My thought right now is we're so close to budget time, may just hold off on any tenant improvements and put it as part of the budget for next year.
Yeah, because my only concern with that space, and I've always said from the beginning, I think it should be demolished. I understand there were some promises made of people moving into that space, but I mean, it's in the floodplain. And if we ever have an issue with the river, that's another thing that, you know, if we invest dollars into, we risk that losing that, and we build on the floodplain. I'm not sure that's in the best interests of the tax dollars, or the people who, you know, give us our tax dollars. And I know we talk about, you know, in the Yanapara community where, you know, we restrict the building there, but then we want to go ahead and build in the exact same scenario. It seems kind of, to me, I have issue with that, but again, it's the discretion of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I do want to be clear from my perspective. The TI improvements that are being proposed, that's why we're going to look at the cost and whether we self-perform or put them out to a contractor, because I would be real hesitant to recommend this governing body an expenditure, because you're correct. In my mind, the expenditure is temporary, less than 3 years. Long-term, taking into consideration, we have the South Connector Road, the commercial freight that's going to be going through that area. That corner becomes very important. I do have numbers. You're going to see them in the budget. We're looking at a large front-end loader. We've got 2 dump trucks now, and we're doing the topographic survey. We're going to do all the engineering and start looking at raising that area, self-performing all of the earthwork. You heard me say earlier, if we paid for it with the contractor today, it would cost more money just to raise the pad above the base flood elevation. It's just not affordable. But there are solutions, and the long-term solutions is to remove that building. That would be my recommendation, to build up the pad. It's going to become a highly desirable corner, and that we do the work to remove it out of the firm map, the flood insurance rate map. So I agree with you. I just want to make sure we're all clear. There's a short-term and a long-term, and the long-term is really the end game.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
For my report, I just want to thank again the people who were involved in the cleanup campaign, Ms. Brito, for the coordination that she does there. I know she's on the phone all day long for several days, getting that thing organized. And the public works employees, I was there with them both days, almost the entire time that they were there. Please send them my regards, you know, for being hardworking and sticking till the very end. It was exhausting, and but I think it's fruitful. It's been fruitful. We just have to make sure that people don't continue to fill their yards with junk again for the next cleanup campaign. So we want to make sure that they keep their yards clean. So thank you to all who participated in that. Again, thank you to the counselors who joined us up in Santa Fe. It helps a lot when we can go up there, not just me, but everyone else, to showcase, hey, there's a big need, you know, there's a big push. And I think seeing that we got, you know, close to $3.5 million, that means something. So thank you all for showing up for that. And that's all I have. There's no objection, ladies and gentlemen. I do have 7:42 p.m. We are adjourned.
Yeah.